Job search
Oh,
and
yeah.
graduate school
Yeah,
applications.
this is career coach 101 here.
Yeah.
This is like you were in it.
So that's important
Yeah.
to know that you can use those skills, and not only use those, but a tip is that you can put that on your resume.
So having that connection to yourself and to your family and your relationships helps make you want to help other people.
Welcome to Career View Mirror. I'm your host, Joyel Crawford, and today I have my guest, Shia Joyner, who is the founder of Zen Boujee, which the title of this company I love. She is a domestic violence awareness advocate and survivor, a medical esthetician, a Reiki healer, a registered yoga teacher, and culture consultant. She is all things beauty and wellness, and her brand is everywhere. And it's focused on supporting domestic violence awareness, advocacy, and prevention. Welcome to the show, Shia.
Oh, wow, that was such an introduction. Thank you so much. I'm like, who is she? Oh my gosh.
You're pretty dynamic, right?
Like, that is me. Oh my gosh. Good job, sis. No one told you today.
So how are you doing? How did you get involved in this career of yours? I mean, because there are so many facets, so many hats that you wear. How did you get involved in all of this?
That is a very loaded question. I have always loved beauty. I was the youngest growing up, and you know, sometimes the youngest, either you're the spoiled brat or you're the rebel. So I was a bit of both. So my mother would always tell me, you're going to be a nurse, you're going to be a nurse. And I'm like, as if, you know, like, I'm not going to help anyone. I'm going to make people pretty. So it's very interesting to see that now I'm a healer, and, you know, I'm not the typical standard nurse. However, the modalities that I've just dedicated myself to over the past 20 years, they're all about helping and healing. So, you know, mama knows best.
Yes.
Mama always knows best. Yeah, so I started just loving nail polish and lipstick. And I grew up during the, you know, Little Kim era where, you know, everything was big and glamorous. You know, grew up in Atlanta where everything is big and glamorous.
Yes.
And, you know, this is before makeup artistry was really makeup artistry, you know, it was just like something that you could just do. But I knew that getting my aesthetics license was really important because I really just loved the skin more so than the makeup. So I got my aesthetic license when I was 19 and moved overseas for a while and learned more about skin and makeup. And it's just been like a moving roller coaster ever since then, of me just deciding and dedicating to myself that I would take a chance if it was something that I really believed in. So everything that I've done is really just like, I think I'm going to do that. And I'm just do it. So here we are.
That's amazing. And how did you get started? Did you have to go to, I mean, to be an esthetician, I know you have to go to school for it, but how did you get involved in all the other things that you're doing?
It was just the journey of life, you know. Before I really dedicated to yoga, I was doing Bikram yoga. This was Atlanta, and it was more athletic for me. You know, it was like, yes, I nailed it. Yeah, you know, like that girl, she was like passed out, not me, you know. And it just always gave me like this euphoric feeling of just like, you know. It wasn't until I really started burning through things in life. You know, we as women, especially as women of color, our trauma is different. It is not to say our trauma is better or worse than anyone else's, but it's different. And we're conditioned that we must be strong, we must be tough, we must be strategic, we must know what we're doing. Everyone, and I don't care how strong you are, you hit a space in life where you're like, I don't know anything. I thought I knew it all, and I don't know anything. That space, when I hit that space, it was really hard for me. You know, single mom, living in New York, where I just had to make sure every moment of the day was accounted for because everything was on me. And I was introduced to the word anxiety. And I was like, what is that? What does that mean? That's just called your schedule. That's not, you could take a pill for that. Like, really? And I realized that the way I was living my life was not sustainable. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's when I really dedicated to my yoga practice. And it was one of the most healing journeys of my life. That led me to understand different parts of my mind, different parts of my body, loving my body and, not just working out, but loving my body as to what I'm putting in it, understanding my chakra system and how this is all connected, understanding manifestation, understanding everything that a Christian girl in the South was taught growing up, but as an adult, actually applying it. Mm-hmm. And it's just gone from there, traveled, been to different countries. Really, I've traveled through the diaspora to kind of follow the practice back to its origin, mm-hmm. Which has been very powerful, which has made me fall in love with plants, which has led me to create, while I was on a meditation retreat in Nicaragua, Zen Boujee, because mm-hmm. plants are so freaking dynamic and they are like the epitome of life. And Zen and Boujee is a combination of the bouginess and the zen of plants, mm-hmm. and healing power they can have for your skin as well as your inside. Mm-hmm. So it really has just been this like unorganic but predefined journey that I could not have like mapped out. Mm-hmm. And a lot of healing, through this process. I am able to say that I'm a domestic violence survivor, which mm-hmm. has been a
congratulations.
Huge, well, thank you, but it's a huge, it was weighing me down, just like, and it's not that it was on my mind, mm-hmm. but never really connecting to that trauma and putting a face to it and a name through it and say, you actually did live through that actually did happen. You are validated in how you feel and processing those emotions. Mm-hmm. So healing. I used to hear or I would see people being a survivor, and I will always say, yeah, but not me. But to say it, mm-hmm. and it's so much power in that, because I feel every time I say it, I'm closing that chapter. Like that chapter is completely closed. Mm-hmm. So I am happy, like I am 40. I feel like I know what I'm supposed to be doing when I wake up every day. I love making products. I love helping women. Mm-hmm. I love being a mom. I love meeting dynamic women like you.
Thank you.
This just brings me joy. It brings me complete joy. And that A word, anxiety, it doesn't exist. Like I said earlier, I just take a step back,
Yeah.
I take a step back and I realize you don't know the answer to that, and it's okay. And the answer is going to come to you, and it's okay.
That like brings me to my thought, because you had said something about how you went away, you were on your journey, and you're always connecting to your why, and how it didn't have to be written in stone. And I talk to my coaching clients about this a lot. Just because you set an intention doesn't mean that intention is like the 10 commandments, like it can't be altered or changed. What do you think, what tips would you give to someone who is exploring their passions or trying to find out what their career is, as you were trying to discover yourself? What tips would you provide to somebody who's
non-attachment? You have to detach yourself mm-hmm. from everything you think is real, because some of the things that you just know, but a lot of the things that we envision for ourselves, sometimes there's an attachment to it. Mm-hmm. Where if we don't see that immediate result, we feel like we didn't reach success. Mm-hmm. But when you have a goal and you go after it with non-attachment of whatever the outcome is, you're always going to succeed, because you'll never feel like you failed. And that's why I say, as a woman of color, our trauma is different. You know, like if you did not get all A's, if you did not go to the right school, if you did not do this, then there was a level of you weren't successful, or there was something you didn't do that was right. With non-attachment, release it. Just release it, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen for you.
It's the belief that it's going to happen, it sounds like, that you need to tie to.
Mm-hmm.
Not the fear that it's not going to happen, but just the belief that it is going to happen will help you let go, right? Surrender.
As well as not knowing the when. You know, I read this book and it was so powerful for me for so long, 12-week year. And it was like you broke your year down into 12 weeks, and then the 13th week you took a break, and it was extremely masculine, of like you wrote down every single thing. There was no room for life, you know? So yes, you do need to have a plan. Yes, you do need to have direction, but you can't be so attached to it that if one thing goes wrong, you're shattered.
Right.
Yeah, right? You're like, oh, you know, like, woe is me, like, get this off of my desk. No, like, you know, there's always a win in it. There's always a win in it. And there's always someone that you've met, or that someone you're in front of, or some meeting you didn't want to go to because it wasn't what you wanted to do, is exactly what you need to do. You know, like the burn is so real. Yeah. So yes.
That is very deep. And I think it really resonates because, you know, a lot of times people, especially now, are feeling very stuck. And that stuckness is the attachment, you know, sometimes the connection, because of the fear of the unknown, you know, like clinging on to what was so tightly that they can't see what could be, the possibility of what could be.
That is so true.
So that's some really great advice. I mean, how long did it take you to kind of get all of these different certifications? I know like a yoga certification takes hundreds and hundreds of hours. Being an esthetician takes years. Like, how long would you say it took you to kind of create or Frankenstein your career, your dream?
You know what? I'm going to be so honest with you. I got my aesthetic license when I was 19, and I took breaks from it. You know, I would take breaks. Like, you know, I was a consultant for a while, and I would always find myself back to it, and I would fall back in love, you know, with it. Or, you know, one time I took a break and was like, the energy of just like touching people all day, it was just like, you know. And I met this woman, she was from Egypt, and she was a master Reiki healer, and she taught me how to protect my energy and how to not absorb everyone that I touch. So this has really all been a process of me falling in and out of love with myself. You know, and even with yoga, sometimes I take a break, like, you know, and I come back to my mat, and I don't beat myself up if I missed a couple days. There's some yoga teachers I look at and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could teach like that. You know, your career is your life purpose. And that's what it should be. It shouldn't be a job. It should be something, you know, that you constantly want to continue diving in. And you're okay to just take this like magic journey. I'm right now doing an herbologist, a 2-year herbologist course, because I love plants. I mean, I can't read any more books about them. I'm like, you need to do something with this, you know? So I feel that once again, it's all about healing. And it's something that I love. And, you know, it's quite ironic that I have a business that takes plants and crushes them down to their purest form, and you can eat them and put them on your skin. You know, it's not a job to me. It's something that I absolutely love. So the career should be your purpose, and the check will come.
Ooh, I like that. I think that sounds like some good marketing for this episode. Is the check will come. Check will come. What's one myth that you would like to take out of the atmosphere, or out of this just world of things working in your field, that you could just get rid of, like just eliminate? you know, you help what you do, and they're kind of like, oh, you like to play with makeup, you know, like what would be one myth?
One thing that I really, some people won't agree with me when I say this, but networking, oh, I just think you should have courageous conversations with people. Like
Mhm.
networking, it cringes me, where it's just like, uh, you know, that's a part of being a solo entrepreneur. There's a myth that you must go out and network. You must get a business card. I don't have a business card.
Mhm.
I used to have a business card and I don't have one. I still don't have one. And I find that success comes through connections with people
That's exactly.
and dialogue with people and
Mhm.
being genuine and
Mhm.
being your authentic self. And when you get to a space where you love yourself, meaning you love every flaw, right?
Mhm.
And you love every mistake.
Mhm.
You can have these courageous conversations where you don't have to be on all the time and network. That's one myth that I just wish would just out the window.
Well, and I agree with you there, because networking isn't that, here's my card, give me a call, that kind of thing. It's just like you said, it's about building relationships and having courageous conversations. I recently put some advice out on Forbes about that. It's just setting the intention of having setting the intention of collaboration and support. And that's what it is. It's that energy that you're bringing that will attract versus detract. And as soon as you fix your energy and you go in with the reasons of, I'm here to help somebody, who can I help and support, versus how many clients am I going to get, and how many numbers am I going to collect, and cards to collect. Like, you look like a dealer in a casino after a while. There's no reason for that. You're not going to get the right clients. The ideal clients are not going to come to you that way. But once you fix that energy, like you're saying, Shia, it's like you're a magnet for all of the positive energy, all the ideal clients.
Now, you do have to have a sales strategy and you
Yes.
have to have a sales goal, but there is a space where that alignment and manifestation comes. Even with Zen and Boujee, it was about a month ago, I was just annoyed. I was annoyed because it was about 2 weeks of just like, just on, where I wasn't connected. I wasn't connected to any of my actions. And I started, just like, oh, I don't feel like responding to that email, or oh, I don't feel like doing this. Oh, I'm so annoyed. Oh, the supplier makes me sick. I don't know, just
Yes.
all of this wah, 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 wah. And I was stretching myself too thin. I was stretching myself too thin. It was taking me away from my purpose. I wasn't showing up with my 80% battery pack on, I wasn't sleeping well. All of these things started lining up where when I really sat down and looked, I was like, girl, but it happened. Even it happens. And I'm not saying that I know everything, but it happens to the best of us, right?
Yeah.
So that alignment with purpose and just resetting, shifting and pivoting a little bit, and shaking it off like it never happened.
That is the truth. That is the truth. Shaking it off. And we were talking about this before we started taping, is it's the importance of just, sometimes you just need to put yourself in timeout to rest and recharge so that you can come back with that energy and make it better. That's the biggest thing. So, I mean, have you experienced any challenges in your career? Any, challenges being a woman of color, a Black woman of color, entrepreneur, solopreneur, because that's an extra level of extraness. And that's my technical term for for business. Have you experienced any challenges?
My challenge is being a mom.
Ooh.
I personally feel that being a woman of color, this is my opinion, but most employers know how hard we work. So when they see us, they know, oh, she's a good one. She's going to stay extra hours. She's going to stay up all night.
Yep.
She's going to get it done. But I feel that my challenge of why I'm an entrepreneur, one, the family I came from, my dad was just extremely entrepreneurial. I made a choice when I moved to New York with my children. They were very young. I made a very conscious choice that I wanted to be a present parent. And that meant, all the things I was qualified to do career-wise, I had to kind of manifest that within my own dreams.
Right.
A little bit of a different journey, because sometimes when you have a career in a certain field, you get validation that what you're doing is correct.
Right.
Or you have the budget of the company to do things. So I had to serve as a consultant for certain projects. And, I would take projects for 6 months and then I would do nothing for 3 months because it's the summertime. Or, I made that conscious effort, which was really hard, because anytime I would go for like a position, anytime I tried, I would find myself not wanting to tell people I had children.
Wow.
I would find myself like, but then if you know me, you know me. Like, I talk about my kids all the time. So, it'll always come out that I have kids. And usually people are like, you do? Or like, really? And you're like, you never talk about them. And I'm like, yeah, that has been my challenge, I will say. But I don't say it's a challenge, because I've had the joy of being with my kids every day by 4:30 p.m. And having time with them, not having to hire a babysitter or a nanny, or, I've had the opportunity to watch them grow. So, and now here I am where I feel very confident in what I can do because I've done it.
Right.
Without a master's degree, I've done it. The projects that come in front of me, and I still do consulting on the side, I don't have a business card. And sometimes I wonder to myself, like, how did you even land that? But I feel very confident now.
Right.
With what I can do. And I have boundaries in regards to what I won't do,
Do you feel like that the fact that you didn't mention your children is because you didn't want that to get in the way of people making assumptions that you would make that an excuse for not getting work done?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that goes to, when I say my burn was real, my burn of like me getting rid of all of the like capitalistic, patriarchal things that have been embedded in us, it was so deep. The inner child is real in all of us, but it was so deep because it all went back to, my parents giving the best intentions, for my sister and I to be the best we could be.
Right.
But, I grew up in like a hush culture. Like, you just do this, you do this, you do this. And I thought if I just did that, I'm great.
Right.
That's not the world we live in.
No.
It's not. And you have to be okay with that. So that burn for me was really stripping away every ideal that ever been conditioned and embedded into me. But it was so liberating.
Yeah.
Right. It was so liberating to say, oh yeah, I can do this and I can do that. Versus saying I only do one thing and I do one thing well,
Right.
I can do all of these things. I have 2 decades plus of history of working and touching and doing. I'm great at this, So yeah, she is happy.
Excellent. So tell 2 things. What is one career tip or leadership tip that you would share with the past you a few years ago?
Working longer and being up all night does not mean you are productive. I conditioned myself to believe I work better at night. I'm more creative at 2 a.m. And I'm going to be honest, I still struggle with that at times, where And it's just it's a hard thing for me to see, because there'll be some nights where like it's 10 o'clock and I'm like, shut the laptop. I'm like, no, keep going. And like, shut the laptop. No, keep going. You know, this is going on in my head. But sleep is key. Sleep is, you know, a healthy diet and a healthy sleep relationship is so important. It's so important. Meditation before you sleep and as soon as you wake up is so important. Clearing all the thoughts out of your mind is so important before you go to sleep. So if I could give myself any advice, those long midnight hours, girl, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And be okay with setting boundaries. You know, I feel that, especially with millennials that I meet today, they have boundaries. They are very quick to tell you what they aren't going to do and what they are going to do. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish when I was that age, you know, but I also respect it. I respect it. I respect it in a way. Now, we don't know how this is going to pan out, but I do respect it in a way in regards to knowing your worth. Mm-hmm. And having a sense of, yeah, I'm not doing all of that before you get burnt out, you know?
Right.
That would be my advice.
I love it. I love that advice. And I think it's really imperative because a lot of people are in the pivot, right? Everyone's in the pandemic pivot. People may be exploring the opportunity to go out and do their own thing. And I think it's very important. Rest is key. Especially as a solopreneur, because you're everything. Your HR, your sales, your marketing, your PR, your everything. And yes, outsourcing can be helpful so that you can get your rest. But being busy does not always equal being productive.
No, and find a mentor.
Yes.
You don't have to figure this out on your own. Like, I don't even need to know what your business is, but you're not the first one that did it. You know, like there is someone that has used some organizational structure that you're thinking of. It might not be the same product, mm-hmm. but I don't believe that anyone is inventing anything new in regards to processing. Mm-hmm. You know, there's still going to be some flow of information. There's still going to be something logistical that has to get done. You know, find a mentor and don't be afraid to ask someone that you admire, you know, to help you, because the average person is going to say yes. I think more than the average person is going to say yes. And that's another thing. Get used to people telling you no. No is I've heard no so much these days. I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'll just ask you again tomorrow, you know? You know, that word no and that word yes, that goes back to that attachment. Mm-hmm. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal at all. Just, you know, maybe this isn't the good day for them, or maybe it's not the right person, or it's not the right timing, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being hearing from a very wise person that no means next opportunity.
Yes.
That is so huge.
I like that.
That it's important to not take it personally, because like you said, it's that surrendering. The check will come. The check, it may not come from this person, but maybe it'll come from someone else, or maybe it's just not the right time. Maybe it means, you know, it's a great idea, but bad timing. And maybe, you know, it just needs to marinate. You know, I spoke to somebody months ago about working with them, and all of a sudden, you know, here it is 6 months later, I'm getting an email. I'm ready to work. I totally forgotten about you. So the check will come, and that is great advice. I think the mentoring piece is very important too. And there is somebody out there that's going to be able to mentor you. They don't need to necessarily know your niche, but people know business, and that's the key, is to finding the right people who do good business, who can help you launch yours. Now, speaking of business, I did want to talk about one more thing. It's the Pledge Buy One, Gift One Self-Love Goddess Box campaign. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes. This project means a lot to me. So much so that sometimes it takes me away from like the other daily things I need to get done, because it just it means a lot. I decided when I officially was like, okay, I'm going to launch Zen Boujee. I wanted to build this company in a way where every action in some way is thoughtful, meaning, you know, how I source the ingredients, you know, I look at the impact, you know, some things I just can't get around, but it makes me feel okay that I at least got around it by sourcing locally. With the Self-Love Goddess box, it really is how the heartbeat of me. You know, it's not just Zen and Boujee products, because who are you if you can't rep your sisters to your left and your right? So it's a BIPOC self-love box. So it's always going to include products from other women. We are always going to give 10% back, not just off of the box, but off of all of my products. I give back to domestic violence survivors. And there's something to me that I feel my generation, and not just my generation, but just a lot of generations, being a woman of color, growing up in the South, living in the North, is lost in its like community economic power. You know, people say shop local, you know, and I get that, but there's so many things we can do. You know, of course you can buy Black, but if we're not really teaching ourselves what it is to be economically powerful, then we're not impactful.
Right.
So with the Self-Love Goddess box, we've partnered with SAFE, which is a nonprofit based out of Detroit, and they teach financial wisdom to domestic violence survivors.
Nice.
So, you know, this box, the products in it, first of all, the products in it, it was fun putting the box together, but the pledge buy one, gift one, we have a goal. We want to help 300 women. You know, if we get 150 women to buy one and pledge one, we have helped 300 women, which sounds like, oh, we could totally do that. But that's 3,600 women a year if we did this every month, you know, with giving the foundational seeds that's needed to take the situation that they're in and actually grow from it and actually change, you know. Sometimes with domestic violence, there is a lot of work that needs to be done to renew your mind, because you may end up in the same situation with a different vessel being violent with you. So having economic power and understanding your strength, you know, understanding what your consumer report is, what your credit report is, you know, understanding how to navigate the financial system, understanding how to, you know, take baby steps and get your own address outside of your abuser. Start doing the small things to give yourself independence. So powerful. So powerful. So the Self-Love Goddess box, it's over $225 worth of merchandise for $75. Ooh. And yeah, we've partnered with a local artist here. She's an artist. Her stuff is amazing. She's done this fabulous tote bag. We have a Brooklyn native author. She wrote a book, Love Is, and it's a poetry book. And it's like a coffee table book. And I've read this book like over 3 years, just open it up, read a page, close it, read another page.
That's the book in your headshot.
Yes. April May B, she's the poet. And we've got some Zen and Boujee products in there. We've got an amazing stimulator vibrator necklace for all us ladies that self-love. You know, the box is just thoughtful. To me, the box is just thoughtful in so many ways. And to know that we're actually helping, you know, every box, $7.50 is going directly to Safe Start. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about it. At first, I was very like, we have to do this by this day. And, you know, but now I'm like, no, let's just write it out. Like, there's no deadline on when the helping stops.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, I had this whole thing like, but we have to do a box every month. I'm like, that is only in your head. Who else knows that plan but you?
Yes. Let it go. Surrender.
Let it go. Like, just keep selling the things until they sell out, and then do another one. Like, we just want to help 300 women a month. So, and I'm okay if we help 25. I'm okay if we help 75. To me, I just want to make sure that every action with Zen and Boujee has a purpose. I never want to fall out of love with this company. And I always want to make sure that in some way, shape, or form, we're serving.
Absolutely. There's that service. And it's just that the healer in you that makes this so special. Well, Shia, I really appreciate you being here on the show. And thank you for sharing your passion and your purpose and your products with me and us, the viewers and listeners. So thank you so very much. And you can find all of her products on Zen and Boujee, or Zen and Boujee .com. That's what it is. Zenandboujee.com is the website that you can find her and her products on. And is there information about the box on your website?
It's on our homepage. It's on the homepage. The web domain and all of our social media is ZENAND and Boujee, because I'm from Atlanta. I had to spell it like my hometown. BOUJEE.com.
All right.
Boujee.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time today.
Me. Thank you. This is awesome. This has been so awesome.
Excellent. And everybody, thank you for watching Career View Mirror. And again, keep watching, keep listening, and we'll see you next time. Be well.